It's Wednesday of the third week, and yesterday I forgot to tell you that in philosophy we already talked about the sixth limb of Patanjali's 8 limbs, which is dharana, often translated as concentration. The moment you realize that joy is inside you, and then you can concentrate on yourself, he said. And it's a type of concentration that flows in one direction. It's like reading a wonderful novel, so it's not kind of effortful, but it's natural concentration. That's the state that comes when you have mastered these first 5 limbs, asanas, pranayama, etc., breathing. Yeah, today Vijay talked about dhyana. So that's meditation, the 7th limb of yoga. And he says there's often a misunderstanding of what meditation is. So people say, I meditated for 10 minutes now, or I sat down and I meditated. And he said that's not really true. Like you can practice techniques to make it more likely that you get in that state, but actually meditation is a state. And it's not like you sit down and now you meditate, but at some point it will happen naturally that you're always in this state. It's like you live your life as if every moment is the last moment you'll ever experience. You look around and you're so aware of everything, because imagine this would be the last moment of your life. How would you live? How would you perceive things? You would be probably very aware. Let's see what is happening. And also if you realize that every moment is completely unique. No moment will ever come back in that exact same way. So in that sense it's always the last moment like this. And in that sense you die every moment. And he said, yeah, meditation is something like the art of dying, or is related to that. Letting go in each moment and being open to new. So often we just want back, we had some nice feelings in the past and we just want them back. But then we will not go into the state of meditation. Meditation means being open for new things in every moment, because every moment will be completely new, and if we're stuck to the old, we will not see it. And there will be new beautiful things coming, different ones. And we can only see them if we let go of the old beautiful ones that will never come back in the same way. Never ever, not even in the same room with the same person that will be exactly the same, and open up for new. So that's the state of meditation. Yeah. And then also related to this, by the way, romance. So he said that when we lose romance, so just checking my hair, when we lose romance with our partner, it's usually because exactly this happens. We think the person is like this or that, and then we will always see the person like this, and we don't discover anything new in them. But it's not true, because you are kind of different in every moment. You're not the same that you were a few moments ago. And once you open up to that, and you also see it in other people, how they transform all the time, that will be very nice. And then it stays interesting and beautiful. Then the 8th limb of Patanjali is Samadhi. So it's the final state that is very hard to be described. So the way he put it, you will continuously see yourself in everything. So whenever you look at the world and everything around you, you will feel that it is you. It's like looking into a mirror. Yeah, and when you're breathing, you dissolve into your breath. When you look at the sunrise, you are the sunrise. So everything becomes one. Something like this. But I think these kind of states, they can't really be described in words anymore. It's very hard for the intellectual, like, to understand it intellectually. Yeah. he said a disciple came once to his master and said, "How do I meditate?" And the master said, "Don't think, just sit for 30 minutes, become no one, forget your name. It's not about becoming, it's about being. Just be and watch." And that's a nice thing to remember in meditation, because often we still have this mindset, oh, I have to achieve something, I have to do it this way or that way. But actually just sit down, do nothing, just be. You know, it's easier said than done. Yeah, but as I said, this happens naturally, apparently. You cannot force anything. That also our other yoga teacher, Abhi, said today. I think it was Abhi. So you cannot really force things on you. They will happen when it's the time. In physiology and anatomy, we talked first about Kapalabhati, which is a breathing technique where you inhale, exhale very forcefully. Something like this, but with the nose. Okay. And it's something like a voluntary hyperventilation. So you increase your respiration and your heart rate, but it's under your own control. This technique can be quite strong, by the way, so not everyone should do it. But yeah, it's supposed to be a very good cleaning technique that you can do in the morning on an empty stomach. And we talked about cross-leg sitting and what kind of things you need, like your hip flexion, hip abduction, external rotation of the hips. And then we talked about restrictions in your body that will restrict you from carrying out certain asanas, certain poses, for example, to sit upright in a cross-legged position. So your muscles, of course, and those you can stretch and train, and your ligaments, those you can also change over time, but you have to be more patient. It can take like 2 years until it's good. And then the third restriction is your bones. So not every pose is for everyone. Some people can try for very long to do a split or something. It's just never going to work because of their anatomy. And then it's about acceptance, accepting how you are and what your body is like, and that's totally fine. Yeah, and he also talked about how we say time heals all wounds. How do you say? Time heals, but that actually often the bad events, they just go into our subconscious in Roshan's opinion, and they might go even in the unconscious, and then they might mess with your body. And for example, if you have a hip that doesn't open, according to Roshan, this cannot only have, it's not only because you didn't train or stretch, but that might also have to do with some emotions that are stored there. And maybe this is not quite backed up scientifically yet, but I can see it in different classes and what I've heard from many people. For example, when they do certain asanas, certain stretching exercises, especially like these hip openers, apparently people might start laughing like crazy or crying. So it really almost seems as if things might be stored in the body and then can come out during yoga exercises or massages. And that's good. And sometimes it comes together with pictures of these events or memories. I know this might sound a little weird if you haven't experienced it yourself yet, but it's really quite a common phenomenon if you talk to people with deep massages or some more intense yoga classes where you hold the poses for very, very long. Things like this really apparently do happen. Okay.